Hi again, Doug here from X-Frames FPV, and today I've got another mailbox video for you. And if you're not familiar with what the mailbox is, it's exactly what the name implies. It's what I get in the mail. Almost every day I get something in the mail, at least every day or every other day. And so this is what I get, and kind of show you kind of what comes in, and it kind of also gives you a little bit of a heads up of what's coming up on the channel. Okay, so let's get to the first one here. And this is from my customer. So these are the Lumenier 3x4x3 props. And I have not tried these yet, so this is going to be fun to try these new props. And this is coming back from a build that I did, and he said that he's having a problem with one of the motors is not, and either it's not initializing, in other words, the ESC is not sending the signal, or we have a motor problem. So I don't think he took a crash with it, but we'll kind of see. They all feel, yeah, they all feel good. So we'll get into this and see exactly what it is, and kind of go from there. This, if you're not familiar, this is the Hyperbaby that we built, the 150. And you know, one of the things in this hobby that is for sure is that if you are wanting to get in this hobby and you are wanting something that you're never going to have to do any repairs or anything, this is probably not the hobby for you, because the reality is these take a lot of beating and the components are not perfect. And so from time to time we do have issues with components, but this is not a big deal. The nice thing about this hobby is that if it is something that needs to be repaired, it's really inexpensive to repair it. If it's an ESC, it's going to cost around $10 to $15 depending on your ESC. If it's a motor, it's going to cost between $15 and $20 for a motor. On these are like $15. So, you know, it's one of those things that, yeah, it's not a perfect hobby as far as everything just always runs smoothly, but everything is inexpensive to repair. So that's one of the great things about this hobby. So that's in. So what's in here? We've got, he loves the kind of the Jamaican, you know, the black, the red, the yellow, and the green colors. And so we're going to put this on another Hyperlight build for him. And got these nice motor pads. You know, I think in the future, you know, we're all talking about soft mounting, and I think what's going to happen is people are going to design these motor pads to second as soft mounts, and you basically could do that by inverting them, especially if it, you know, this wouldn't work because this is cut out purposely so that it's not, so you have two mounting points here that are solid. But if you built this to where you had all four mounting points, you could invert this on the arm, and then there you've got a really nice soft mount for your motors. You know, I do get asked from time to time. My customer in Texas, as a matter of fact, asked me about it, and you know what I told him is it does help on some, and it doesn't do anything on others. You know, some of the drones, they really benefit from them, but other ones they don't really see a benefit. So as you're building stuff, you might as well go ahead and do it, because you don't know which drone's going to be susceptible to the vibration, the noise from the motors and that kind of thing. And it's not a bad thing, as long as you know you got to put Loctite on it, and you've got to check your screws going to the motor. You know, I would check them every couple of, you know, runs. And but if you do that, there's no downside to soft mounting either your flight controller or your motors. So and it definitely is a benefit to some of these builds that are just more susceptible to noise from the motor. So that's my 2 cents, whether you want to take it for what it is, which is just that. It's just my opinion. And looks like he sent, this is a replacement motor. So for the 150 or the Hyperbaby, and then a couple of Runcam. These are the Runcam Rotor Riot Edition. I think both of these are, yeah. And I think he's basically just wanting for me to use these on future builds. So that's that. Let's put all this stuff. Really, can I not just grab something? I mean, am I that inept today? Possibly. This is from Get FPV. Let's see what's going in here. Or not what's going in here, but what's in here. So we've got the Lumenier. See if you can see that. This is the 4-in-1. Now this is the one that does have a 5-volt. This is BLES. They have two versions. They have one with and one without the BEC or the BEC. So the nice thing is you can run this and run this on this setup. We're going to run this. This is going to go to our flight controller with a supplied 5 volts because we're running an F4 flight controller. And then from the hot, where the LiPo comes in, that's going to go to our tramp, which the new tramp does take full LiPo voltage without any issues. There's no more issues with these. Supposedly, these are, they've isolated it to where any of the power spikes that you get coming back from the ESCs are taken care of. So I don't know exactly how they do that, some kind of wizardry. But anyways, this will make it really clean. With this, you do not need a PDB on this build. What else do we got? Well, we were talking about F4 flight controllers. And this is another F4 flight controller. This is the one that was designed by FPV Kebab. And I use these a lot on my builds. It's kind of my go-to right now. And I think that's about it other than... What do we got here? This is the Foxeer Arrow. And this has got the 2.5 lens. So, that's this is going to go, like I said, I don't know if I did say that. This is going to go on another Hyperbaby build that we're not going to end up doing a build out video or anything on because this is going to be built by my customer in Texas, but he wanted me to get all the parts. So we've already got ESCs are done. Let me see. Hang on just a second. Let's see here. These are, let you guys get a good look at these. These are the Hyperlight 1407 Race Series. And this is 3500 kV, I believe. Yes. Actually, 3600. That's why I was looking. These are basically the Tornado motors. 1407. The cogging is the motor. The magnets are just super tight. And it's kind of cool to see curved magnets on a small little 1407 can. But this, we've built this customer a Hyperbaby, or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't a Hyperbaby, it was a MXP 150, an X-Hover. So this is going to be a Hyperbaby, but we're doing the build very similar, except for we're adding the 4-in-1 ESC. I know a lot of people are nervous about 4-in-1 ESCs because the problem that they perceive is if you have one ESC that burns out. So let's pull this out here real quick. It's kind of nice. We provide all the wires and everything. And again, this does have 5 volts. So, it makes it to where you do not have to put, if you use the right VTX, you do not have to put any PDB on this. But, the problem with a lot of people is if you burn this out, then one of the ESCs out, then you got to replace the whole board. And this board is about $50 as opposed to an ESC that's about $15. And that's true. However, as a builder, I rarely see an ESC that has a problem. Now, it does happen from time to time, but for the most part, when there are issues with, excuse me, For instance, what did we just talk about? This little Hyperbaby that's having one of the motors that's not spinning. Chances are that's going to be a motor, and 9 times out of 10 it's a motor and not an ESC. And even if there's other problems that can show up, and so I'm not too worried about that. It's not, if you do fry one, yeah, you do have to replace all 4 of them essentially at once, because you've got to replace this whole component, and this is garbage then. But it doesn't happen as often as people, I think, are afraid that it will. And so as a builder, I'm just telling you, that's my opinion. I'm putting these on a lot of builds. It's not an issue for me. If it's been an issue for you, if you fried a lot of or ESCs, comment and let me know. And I'd be interested to see. I know, when the Little Bees first came out, they were a little fragile, and ESCs were frying on those. But ever since we've kind of, within the last probably 4 or 5 months with the BLHES, and as their ESCs are coming out and they're refining them, it's really not an issue anymore, at least in my opinion and what I've seen as a builder and somebody that repairs, a lot of quadcopters. So that's my 2 cents. Hope you guys enjoyed this mailbox. It went a little long, but, we're not doing a build-out video on this Hyperbaby here. And so I wanted to kind of hit on the products that are going to be going into it. And, guys, I appreciate you so much. We're getting close to 2,000 subscribers. I'm like almost 1,800. And I keep on promising a giveaway video, and I am going to do that. But I know there's some rules with YouTube, and I want to make sure that I do it right. The first giveaway video, I just kind of put it out there, and I didn't get in any trouble for it, but I want to make sure that I do it the right way and the way YouTube wants you to do it. So that's why I haven't done it yet. So check out my website, xframesfpv.com, and that's where you can get an idea of kind of some of the builds that I do and some of the pricing. And again, thanks so much, guys. I hope you have some time to fly.